Hey, I hope it's a good day for you today. And in this video, what I want to do is talk about self-esteem, self-belief, and when you think of yourself, where do you place your value? Where does it come from? Is it conditioned from other people? Is it conditioned from certain beliefs? Is there an inherent value that you can feel? Right? Is there an inherent worth that you can not only feel but truly let it be and experience it? These are questions that you can ask yourself, and I hope this video can really help you if you feel devalued or if you feel that you're not enough, right? And to remember the saying, I saw someone wearing a sweatshirt the other day. We had a conversation. It was really nice, and it just said, "You are enough." And I said, I love seeing that. We had this great conversation. So if you do feel like you're devalued or not enough, I want to remind you that you absolutely are, right? That's it, right? You are enough. And reminding ourselves that we get these messages from different places, right? All these different messages, different people. Many times it's their projections of themselves onto you, right? So if someone calls you something or points something out, points the finger, they're projecting something about them or something about you that they don't understand or that kind of irritates them or something like that. So that's them. You have inherent worth, right? And you have value, and many times your value and your potential and even your value just at this moment is much more than what you believe. So it's very interesting as we continue learning about ourselves and appreciating ourselves, and we realize that many times, again, you could say your value is just is infinite, right? But a lot of times it's capped or seemingly capped or blocked by these different things: conditioning, judgments from other people, self-belief, not strong, right? For some reason you feel less about yourself. These things can seem to cap or block your abilities, your gifts, right? Your value, which is always inherently you have value, you have worth. But we realize that these different things can seem to block those. So if we just kind of inquire within ourselves, like, where do we see, like, if you feel out about yourself, like, is there negative thinking? Is there negative self-talk? Um, what is the belief? Like, overall, can you just say, I'm good, right? I'm good, or I'm great. I have a lot of great qualities, right? I'm working on some different things. Cool, right? Great. Or is it much less than that, right? Is it something negative? And just lightly inquire, right? You don't have to go into detail, like analyzing everything, but just kind of feel it out. And sometimes if we fill out different time periods or when we're around certain people, the self-talk can seem to change. This was something I was working on a while back, and I created some content around it. And there was a book called How to Talk to Yourself Like a Buddhist. And then also a couple books I had on audio by John O'Donohue. And they were amazing books. Those it was like 4 different books, but between all of them, it was showing us how we can look internally and feel within with endless compassion, right? Unconditional love and compassion. And your self-talk will start to change as you practice this, right? You look within, you give yourself a lot of love, a lot of, if it's affirmation, a lot of understanding, right? Because sometimes they'll say affirmation is definitely helpful, right? You speak to yourself in a kind and strong way. Like, you give yourself those affirmations. Some people will say, well, it's kind of, I've heard a teacher say once, it's almost like, oh, I feel this way about myself truthfully, but I'm like trying to tell myself I'm better. So, it feels like inauthentic. I can see how both could play a role, right? For instance, like, if I'm not, I can just understand how both could play a role. But affirmations definitely help. When we look internally, give yourself some good affirmation. And as you give others good affirmation, they give you good affirmation, right? It's very helpful and very supportive. But if you notice and just kind of lightly inquire, oh, when I'm around certain people or maybe in certain environments, the self-talk seems to change. This is something I was noticing a while back. And I started doing some work on it. I was like, it's interesting. Like, I feel really good about myself. I've done some amazing things that I'm so happy about, so proud of, and more so grateful. And I've really done a lot of good work, but I was like, why is the self-talk kind of kicking in certain situations? And I was just kind of inquiring. I spoke with a few people about it. And one thing to know is that some of these people I was speaking to, I wouldn't guess that they would have negative self-talk, but they did. They're just successful and stuff. But they were like, no, I struggle with self-talk too. So I was like, wow, I guess we all do. But when you inquire about that, if it becomes very difficult and it just kind of keeps going, we can inquire and just kind of go, why would this be? Why, when I'm around certain people, it seems to drop, and I'm around other people, it seems to be better? Maybe a certain environment. So these are just things to inquire about. You don't have to find the answer or dig for the answer, but just put your awareness on it. Just lightly put your awareness on it. And as you do that, and especially those books that I recommended, How to Speak to Yourself Like a Buddhist, and then some books by John O'Donohue, will show you how you can go do that, to go inward with unlimited love and compassion for yourself because you deserve it. And you actually start noticing the self-talk changing, and you start catching it. You go, oh man, I just, that stream of thought kind of came through. And many times, and this is something I think we develop with wisdom, is you catch it and you go, oh, where does that come from? And sometimes an insight will come up and you go, oh, I remember like a time period where maybe I had a relative or a coworker or something, and they were very demeaning, right? Maybe they were like very like aggressive or something like that, and they put their projections onto me and would make me feel less than I am. So remember that you inherently have value, and if you detect it and you go, oh, like for some reason, the way someone was treating me was making me think my value was less. Once you see that and you recognize it, you go, oh, that person was causing that, or that situation, or whatever it was. But you got to remember, your value is solid, right? Your value is good as it is. Matter of fact, it's probably way more than you give yourself credit for, right? So many times your value is beyond belief, but you've been taught, right? You've been kind of trained in a way to go, oh no, it's not, or you've taken on other people's stuff and kind of blocked it, and you have this self-belief that your value is not great. So I want to reassure you that it is great, that you are great, and you have inherent value. And anytime you feel that that's kind of being dropped by someone else's words, that you can let those go and reaffirm with some good, strong words for yourself. So you are worthy, you do have value, and keep on going, keep on doing great things. So I hope that's really helpful for you. Have a great day.